Broadcast. Bang! I want to welcome everyone to Global Markets Radio Daily Recap. I'm your host, Andrew Spanton. Monday, December the 5th, 2011. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a round trip day. What a market manipulation day. Stock market gapping up on Sunday night as markets anticipating Italy, budget cuts, Monty, 3-card, getting their act together. And then S&P coming out and everyone, right? Bloomberg Journal, CNBC, everyone. Hello? At the end, at the end of the day, saying there's going to be downgrade of all 17 possible nations in the euro, not the eurozone. And stocks sold off 15 handles. Euro came in about 70, 80, not much. But Aussie's still up 70 pips on the day going into a rate decision that they're supposed to cut rates. I get it. We'll talk about that in a bit. But listen, S&P, listen. One of the reasons why we rallied at the end of the day, UBS came on and said he expects things to really happen on Friday. He expects good things. Wow. This is going to be one hell of a week, people. One hell of a week. Because if you get the market anticipating them doing something, and then the market continues to rally into it, and then gaps up ahead of it, after it, man, if that is the mother of sell on the news. I don't know what is. We'll see if it plays out that way. But to me, the S&P certainly held up fairly well. And the key is taking out previous day lows. This whole 1242 zone really has to hold. And then we could easily be talking maybe a run up. Again, that 1320. But I got this channel line here. As long as this previous day low here holds, I think the S&P is going to hold up. It's a BOP. I think we might be down tonight on fears of the S&P downgrade. But you see here, this was a sell-off. Gap up. I think we need to fill in the gap, so to speak. Grind it up, and then the traders, and you know who they are. Spread the story. Wall Street Journal confirmed it. And they slam the market. And they come right back on hopes of the Merkel-Sarkozy, even though, again, Merkel said she will not go for Eurobonds. Now, as one of my premium members suggested, and I thought it was really brilliant analysis, one of the things, if they do downgrade, that could give Merkel cover to break the rules. Because, hey, look, we just got downgraded. Now, I think if there is a downgrade, it's not going to be where they lose any status. It's more going to be a warning of a downgrade. There's something coming from the S&P. I grant you that. But it's not going to be that collapse that the market's anticipating. So, to me, as long as we hold here, I think the sell-off was a joke. Believe me, I'm a bear. And, yeah, I made some money back today, but how this Aussie is up is just beyond me. Beyond. Believe me, not much. But as long as we hold here, this channel line here, I think we're in the clear. As far as the dollar index, and again, I'm looking for my other channel line. You could even do one from here. And then you do one from here. So we certainly got some more resistance to go. And then, of course, we got the ultimate one at my 1320. Bang. So this breakout is still holding. And I'll tell you, we nail that. If these Germans do get their act together and this euro really rallies, man, this zone here, lay it out. Because there is no way, in my opinion, that this thing is over. There is no bazooka coming. And if there is, it's you probably can jump on board. Probably it's not going to be too late. Gold, sorry. Certainly reversing lower today. I think more on the fact that, hey, the Germans refuse to go along with the plan. They're not going to print more money. Gold to me is a short. Again, as long as it doesn't close above 1775, it looks like it's rolling over. I do think there will be a sort of a year-end rally, but I don't know from what levels. The problem is the levels might be from much lower. But I think for now, oil looks to come in. My yen sucked. Pretty bad call. But hey, I never said it was going up per se. I just said there's going to be more volatility. So this yen looks like it wants to roll over more. But dollar index, as we said, held the line, gapped it down, didn't break through 78. Notice how the exponential moving average now, take a look at last night's, is now catching up. So as long as we don't break through 78, I think the dollar index is a buy on pullback. But again, the problem is, if the S&P breaks out, which we could tomorrow, you could see a break of 78. Absolutely. But again, with all that talk with the downgrade, you would think Euro Sterling would have rolled over. Yeah, it came in, but not by much. I still think this thing looks terrible. I'm going to break, year-end sell-off. If they get their act together, if this really happens, then this thing will fly. But this thing is busted. I think this thing is being held up in anticipation of something happen, and you get nothing good. This is your indicator, people. This is the one. You get a little meltdown in Euro Sterling, we're going to get some big-time action in the euro. And when we look at the euro dollar, listen, it's holding. It was an outside candle. I said it looked terrible. I thought it was going to collapse. It didn't. It's crazy. Gap up. I'll tell you, it ain't easy calling the market. I'll tell you, people, it's not easy. But certainly doesn't look very good taking out Friday's lows. So you break through that 133.60 level. Say goodnight, say continuation. I'm not really sure. I think you sell strength. I think you look to sell strength. I think you look to range trade this market. I don't know if we're going to break out in any direction per se, except maybe the Aussie. That looks like it wants to fly. I mean, I'm short it, and I'm nervous. I mean, look at this. It's flagging. It's not good. 10, 20, 30 crossing. Talk about your indicator. Talk about your flag pole. We should be jumping on board. I want to throw up. It's only gone up straight. 600 pips. Bang. And it's holding without a pullback. Very bullish. Very bullish. I mean, you would think this thing would have some sort of Fibonacci pullback, but it didn't. Not even to 101. So you get a pullback tonight. You get an RBA that cuts rates, but then says they're done for like 3 months, or they're done and they see possibly good things going forward. Oh boy, to the moon. So again, this look, I'm nervous about being short this, but again, unless we can really take this out, and I think we're going to drift lower. I think we drift lower into the event, and then come in a little more. Maybe even we retest 102.10, and then we'll see. But that's 10:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. And I'll tell you, the way this pound Aussie went out, terrible. New low. I mean, you would think this Australian is raising rates, the RBA. Certainly not a country lowering rates. But this looks like 151. This looks like 151 for a possible turnaround Tuesday. Tied at 2, baby. Or maybe it's going to be up first and then down. But I still think this Australian dollar is ridiculously overvalued at these levels, given the global uncertainty, given capital inflows, given their dependence on China and commodities. But Again, this Euro Canada will not go down. I still think my target's intact. Just got to sell any strength. Inside candle, something's coming. We take out 137, this thing might pop a little more. It's certainly oversold. It's due for a bounce. You know, I'm not like so gung-ho short on this thing. And we got a Canadian rate decision tomorrow. And I think they might downgrade their assessment of the economy. Their Canadian IV is big at 10 o'clock. I like dollar Canada long. So if you're going to be short this, I think you got to be long dollar Canada. Dollar Canada came back nicely today. A little bit. But this thing's due to have a nice pop. 100 pips. Hell yeah. So this dollar Canada, while couldn't take out previous day high, maybe range trade again. But again, no rate change expected out of Canada, Bank of Canada, BOC. But they could be pretty dire, pretty negative. And as far as numbers last night, cable, good numbers out of London. Services PMI better than expected. U.S. on the U.S. side, 52 versus 53.6, not good. Remember, manufacturing, while it is important, is still only 30% of our economy now. Services still 70. Maybe it's changed a little, but sterling, certainly holding its own. As long as we don't take out Friday's lows, cable looks like a nice buy to me. Again, with euro sterling being weak, cable should be the one you want to look to buy, if any. Dollar Swiss, nowhere. Intervention, I don't like trading it. Dollar yen. Dollar yen does not look very good. Dollar yen looks like a mouse to go mumbo to the downside. Dollar yen could not rally, even with the stock market up like that. And even bond yields coming in a little bit. Listen, we could have a meltdown. You know, December, and I read a couple of research reports saying I'm dead wrong. Okay. Hey, some of these moves don't happen. Look when this move happened. Didn't happen until the end of the year. Last I checked, it's only December the 5th. But meanwhile, if you're trading options, time is ticking, which means they get cheaper and cheaper. I'm telling you, one touches. You could do a double touch. You could say the dollar yen's going to hit 75.50 and then hit 80 between now and the end of the year. You probably get paid about 20 to 1 on that. What a call. Double touch with big volatility. Problem is most brokers don't do touches anymore. It sucks. You do one touch. You just say it's going to hit 80. You could say it's just going to hit 74. It's going to have volatility. But to me, on the short side, this one looks. Because we broke to the downside. Should we take out this channel line? 77.60. It could open the floodgates. And on a downgrade of European, euro yen, they might look to slam it. Euro yen closing terrible, breaking another whole uptrend channel line. I think we roll over. I think you got to get bearish on these things. This euro yen is selling any strength. Dollar yen looks bad. Euro looks, the hourly chart doesn't look so great. But again, I could see a rally. Channel line trading. Hello. Be a little rally. Denial of the story. Got hammers here. Euro could pop up to like 34.35, 34.50. Maybe later in Asia, hit this channel line after about 6 bars go by. So I don't think you need to chase this euro short on anticipation of a downgrade. I think that's a silly trade at these levels. And you're not having the action that should go accompany it, right? And again, look at the Aussie. Oh, baby. Should this get taken out? Gone. And again, if I'm wrong and they're hawkish, if the Royal Bank of Australia is hawkish, one and done, oh boy. Houston to the moon. And I couldn't believe it. CNBC The Shack on Friday. He used my saying. Never have I heard it before. To the moon, Alice. No one. I think I even made up part of it. One of these days, Alice. One of these days to the moon. But looking at this New Zealand dollar, holds up fairly well. And again, the key indicator for tonight is Aussie Kiwi. I mean, this thing is wedging. This thing is going big time one way or the other. Abso-freaking-lutely. I happen to think this thing is extremely overvalued. I thought it was extremely interesting, by the way, that Branson, there's some fuel company in New Zealand, and he said it's so small and tiny, and he's investing a ton of money in it. That's capital flows. That's real deal currency trading. You would think this Aussie Kiwi, after this thing is done, is going to make a nice short. New Zealand's not lowering rates. Bollard spoke about raising rates. So after they're done exploding this sucker, I think this is going to be the short of 2012. I mean, it looks like 132.50, 133. Really lines up. As bearish as I am, the technicals aren't. So, but this thing will be a great trade, I think, short. Big time. Yeah, it actually lines up perfect, doesn't it? It's higher. Oh, my goodness. Look at this, 134. 133.75. Help me. And again, this thing, you would think they're cutting rates. So the market's telling us something, right? Here I am saying to you, got to be bearish. Look at this. Going to cut rates, right? But it's not really negative going into it. So it looks easy, right? Well, it's never that easy. So you watch out for some hawkish comments from them. Let me tell you something. This takes out 132. It's gone. 132.10. Like the win. And this thing trades by appointment. So be careful. But over 132.10, oh my goodness. And look, there's a new closing high too. And again, I think this is more of a trade of 2012. Maybe not. You know, this thing might go into a bull phase. We hit that channel line. Oh, baby. Sell everything. And if we look at this New Zealand dollar, remember, don't get caught tonight. If Aussie Kiwi is exploding and Aussie dollar pops big time and New Zealand pops with it, the Kiwi is probably going to come in a lot. You get a situation where Aussie dollar goes nowhere, Aussie Kiwi keeps going up, and then New Zealand dollar gets whacked. So be very careful getting sucked in chasing New Zealand dollar, even though I think you could buy it on a spike down. You know, maybe it pops up 30 pips, comes in 20, 30, back down to these levels, maybe even negative. But I think this thing should probably hit 80. It's just amazing. The fact is we consolidate these gains. The fact, as the Obama administration loves to say, the fact of the matter is it's not going down. It is what it is. What else? Again, that's Euro Swiss. Can't rally. But again, intervention. Why are you fighting it? Don't even bother. Who cares? I'll tell you, these yens all failed except this one. This one looks like it wants to fly. But again, I would sell strength or more the euro. You know, focus more on the euro sterling. Euro Canada. But if this one can't rally, how the rest of them? And I just don't buy it. At the end of the day, there's going to be some part of the deal that the market doesn't like. At the end of the day, the Europeans are still going to be in debt and having to roll over 5 trillion euros in the next 3 months. That's a fact. So all this euphoria and giddy for whatever they're going to pull out, they ain't pulling out a bazooka. And even if they pull out a bazooka, what happened when TARP got revealed, the $800 billion bazooka from the U.S.? Market was up 500 and then came down and retested the lows. So it's not going to be a panacea that everyone likes. So hopefully this is the mother of sell on the news. The mother load, baby. Okay, so again, we got lots of data coming out. Australia rate decision, Canadian rate decision, German factory orders, house price number out of London. U.S., not much. IBD, that's it. or light. It's all about the other guys. So I think it's very important to see what the central banks say. There's going to be talk about the coordinated intervention that they did. So we'll be interested to see the statements regarding that. So again, check my twits. I'll be twitting a lot tomorrow, I think. Voice of Forex on Twitter, Facebook Voice of Forex fan page, and of course YouTube Voice of Forex, and of course my premium service. I just love selling it. Andrew Spanton, Global Markets Radio, the only voice you'll ever need. What a joke market. Rumors, up, down, up. The only voice you'll ever need who truly loves to make you money. Have a good night.